I'm Beardy from Twin Engine Corsa. We've been reached out by a company called TEMU, which is basically an online marketplace which basically sells a bit of everything, but they sell some insanely low price tools, accessories, consumables for the automotive industry. They've sent us a load of bits and pieces to try to look at, to basically test, and also to use throughout the year when we're out racing with the track car, drag cars, whatever it is. In this video, we're going to put on the screen the price of each item. Now, not only do they do free shipping and a free 90 days return service, we're going to put for you guys a discount code in the description to get some additional money off the items you want off TEMU. So thank you for TEMU for sponsoring this video. Let's dive in, let's have a look at some of the products, let's see if we can use these throughout the year and see what they're really like. So we've got a basic pick set. Some of these tools you don't really need to spend a massive amount of money on. They're just nice to have in your toolbox for when you're in need of, like, so I use these to basically get rubber hoses off. I stick around the back of the rubber hose and I work round to break it free. You don't need to spend hundreds of pounds on this set. So again, this, again, from memory, it was around a tenner. Got these welding clamps. Now these are definitely going to come in handy in the workshop. They're cheap, they're cheerful, and basically they're going to be covered in welding splatter anyway. And for the sake of, I think these were £3–4 each, you don't really care about them. And if you stick them to a car whilst welding, they get covered in splatter, they get damaged. You can all go and buy the expensive brands. But again, when it's not needed and it's just to serve a simple job, like holding a panel together, like holding something for welding, you don't need to go insanely priced. You just need something to do the job as cheap as possible. This is the real reason why I wanted to get into the TEMU and to basically show their products. These are what we call the consumables. Every mechanic or anyone who knows the racing type of thing will know what these are. And basically they're just items you have in your toolbox or in your back of your van for when you need them, that one time where something goes wrong. They're very, very handy to have and everyone's going to use them. So we'll start with this one. Basic electrical connectors. Every electrical connector, so if you have an electrical fault, side of the track, this will definitely get you out of trouble and it's always there to be used. Cheap, cheerful, what more do you need? Then this one, which again is the consumable items. This, if I can open it, is all T-connectors for water pipes. We've all had it where we've had a water pipe split, or even the smaller ones where we've had a vac hose split and we needed a joiner. They're just nice to have in this little case in your toolbox for that time of need. Who doesn't use or need cable ties? If you can't fix it with cable ties, you're not using enough cable ties. Another little addition. This is a box of copper washers. Again, for them fittings where you're leaking at the side of the track and you just need a copper washer. How hard has it been when I've been at Santa Pod and I've had an oil pipe leak or a banjo fitting leak? Again, just something tiny to keep in that spares box at the side for that just in case moments. And then this one's a little bit of a strange one. This one is basically the tiny, so I can open this up, tiny nuts and bolts. We're talking like M2s, M3s, M4s, M5s. Really, really hard to find nuts and bolts. I think a lot of the racers and drag guys will have a toolbox with all like M8s, M10s and all that in. But very rarely do you have the tiny sizes. And again, just to have this kit of, I think there's over 1,700 pieces in there, it's perfect just to stick away for that just in case moments. And this is the one for me. I use these daily. I'm not a mechanic who likes rubber gloves. I use these cloth gloves for everything. I think it's because I do a lot of metal work. They're just nice enough to weld in, they're just nice enough to grip metal with, and they're just thin enough to be able to do spanners. So that bag there is basically the same price as you'd pay for one set in the UK. And this was the other reason why I wanted to get into TEMU. So when you go on track days, do you want to take your very expensive tools with you, or do you just want something which I class as throwaway? You don't care if you damage it, you don't care if you lose it. This is the selection of why I've gone down to see what these are like. So here you've basically got a full bit set. Again, this was super cheap, to the point of if you lose one, you damage one, you strip one, you're not really bothered because you can just throw it in the bin and start again. I'm classing these tools as something of for a track day guy, a beginner mechanic, someone who's starting out who wants some cheap tools to get into the job. So that's that. So then we'll move on to this set. All your T-sockets and E-sockets. Again, cheap and cheerful. The price of probably one decent make socket is probably 4 times the price of this. So you could technically break one, buy a complete new set, and still be in profit and still could be cheaper. Then we've got a full set of step ups and step downs. Again, these break all the time, when even good branded makes break all the time. I think they were £3. So if you break it, or you can just throw it in the bin. It's the thing with TEMU is everything is so cheap. You can literally use it as a disposable item. And tools at the side of the track, they're going to get lost, they're going to get kicked, they're going to get damaged. Who cares if they cost you peanuts? And then this set. This is a 1/2 inch, I want to say impact set. Just to put on the buzz gun, to use, to get you out of trouble, sit in the bottom of your toolbox. Again, you might only use them 20 times a year, you might only use them 10 times a year. And then we've got a pot rivet gun. Again, you can't go wrong. For the sake of, I think that was £6 to £8. Everything is just cost effective, cheap. And again, if someone who wants to get into building these cars and obviously watches our stuff and wants to begin, this is a cheap way to get a set of hand tools to start the job. So some more bits and pieces we've got. We've got a set of pry bars, obviously used, as we know, for prying stuff and getting stuff out of the way. Also hitting with a hammer, very cheap. Are they going to last enough to get you out of trouble at the side of a track or side of a strip? Yeah, they are going to do. And again, as I've said, if they bend, if they snap, they break, the price of this stuff is wild. Moving on a little bit more, I like this little tool quite a lot, because this is definitely a get out of jail free little tool. This is a roll, anyone who knows this is a roll of Jubilee clips. We've all been there, we've had a Jubilee clip burst, fail, strip. This is a roll of the actual kind of the windings, and you get these individual parts to join on to make any size Jubilee clip you need. So this is kind of like the emergency section. This is stuff that is when you're really in a pickle, you've got some stuff to help you get out. A 5-ton tow rope. We've all been there where we broke down at the side of the road, or friends broke down. Someone at the push of shame at Santa Pod, we always need a tow rope to tow them back to the pits. Everyone's using ratchet straps off the trailers. This is just a good quality 5-ton tow rope. And then this is just a basic puncture repair kit. We've all been there where we've had, like, I've gone and got a £5, £10 repair from a tyre place, but we're stuck at the side of the road and we can't do that. This is that kit. So this is going to get people's backs up. So as we're on track days, as we know, we have the purple track car, which is on carbs. It is basically running a low pressure fuel pump. So I got 2 low pressure fuel pumps for spares. These two I think they were £11 for 2 pumps. Now imagine being at the side of a track day, you've spent £200 on the day and your fuel pump gives up. You ain't going to find one that day, you've wrecked your day. I'm going to keep these in the box. Are they going to last an afternoon where at least you can finish your track day? Yeah, they're going to. And if not, the second one's going to help you. These are the points of trying out some of the parts from TEMU physically in a real world situation. And I think these are going to be quite handy because, again, pumps fail. We all know that. We all order timing tools. Anyone who's a mechanic will order timing tools and various brake caliper wind back tools, and they all come from the same location, as we know. They're cheap, they're cheerful, and I want to know whether they're going to last. And the one thing that I've got is I needed to buy was a vacuum tester. Basically, this thing will pull a vacuum on actuators, it will pull a vacuum on brakes so you can bleed brakes, and all that type of thing. You don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on it. I think this, again, was a tenner. So cheap and cheerful to fill your toolbox up, and it shows you don't have to spend a load of money just to get them little detailed tools you need for the job. We're going to try and use these obviously throughout the year for the track days, for the drag days. We're going to take them in our spares box and see how they hold up. They're just little things that are very, very cheap and cost effective to have in your toolbox for that just in case time. So thank you for TEMU for sponsoring this video. Maybe in the future we could do a secondary video to see how I've really got on with all this stuff, and maybe try some more parts, some bigger items, some big ticket toolboxes, maybe even like, I don't know, model engines that they do on there, because they do so much different type of things. So who knows, we'll see how we get on. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.